Everyone, I have back with me BC again. He is going to be sharing with us his Bitcoin analysis. We're trying to make this a weekly thing for you guys, so you always know what's going on with the markets. There's never any confusion, right? And it's always good to know what Bitcoin is doing and what the altcoins are going to do, because they pretty much always rally behind Bitcoin. So thanks again, BC, for being here with me. I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I love doing these sessions. Like you said, it's really cool to keep the community informed so they can kind of follow along what's going on. And what's even better is when you do an analysis on something and then you come back a week later and you get to see how that played out and those targets hit. It kind of validates that you're seeing the market correctly, because everyone sees the market differently, and sometimes it plays out and sometimes it doesn't. But recognizing why they play out and how it plays out is really important to help people educate themselves so they can further along in their education on technical analysis. So continuing from last week, when we met, we were in this area here. So this was our target that we were talking about. I told you guys we have a target from 45,000 for the low and 51,000 and a half for the top of this target here. Now, as you can see here, guys, these lines here are my EMAs. And we are basically on the daily time frame. We are at the last EMA, which is the 200 EMA. So we're getting rejected off of that, which is normal. We typically don't break through something like a 200 EMA right away. So at the right now we're below the bottom of the box. We're getting rejected on the 200 EMA. However, things look really bullish. These are the smaller time frame EMAs. So we now have we've had a bull cross from the 9 EMA through the 30, through the 50. And as you can see here, I'm going to zoom in just for a second to give a little bit more real estate. Right here, you can see we're getting close to bull crossing the 100 EMA. So right now, being that this is the daily time frame, it doesn't move as fast as some of the lower time frames. So I would guess that we're probably going to maybe find some support here on the 30 EMA, on the 300 EMA, excuse me, because as you can see here, we were rejected. This was an area of support, the 300 EMA. We were rejected in this cluster here. We were rejected in this cluster here. And this is the first time that we actually break above the 300 EMA. So typically when we see a pattern like this, we're going to do a back test. So it wouldn't surprise me to come back down here into about $44,000 and flip the 300 EMA into support. And then once the volume starts to pick up, the momentum starts to pick up, and we get that bull cross from the 9 EMA into the 100 EMA is when we're going to see that break above, that clear break above the 200 EMA. However, here's where I think more than likely we're going to see. We're going to stay inside of this tight range for now. Again, for the same reason that we got rejected here. Typically, we don't break through strong resistance on the first time. And being that the 200 EMA is so close to the bottom of this rejection box, and just to reiterate, guys, if we look to the left, you kind of see why that's the bottom of my rejection box, because that area was strong support. Look, guys, very strong support and resistance. So if you fast forward into the present time, once we break above the 200 and we reclaim it as support, the next barrier is really close. You're only talking about let's see, 44.7 to 45, so about $800 in difference. So what I'm thinking is we break above the 200, we get rejected off the bottom of this box. And if you look to the left, guys, recently on March 2nd, we got rejection right off the bottom of that box. And if you look to the left even further, on February 10th, we got rejected. So almost a month apart. Look at this. We got February 10th, then we've got March 2nd, and now we are on March 25th. So it's getting a little bit closer. We're closing up these gaps as far as time frame goes, but we are almost there. Now, get me excited when you break through the bottom of this. That's when I really start getting excited for the to see how well my bearish prediction overall is going to play out, because ultimately, guys, I am still going to stay with my bearish stance, guys. I'm not going to change it. I've already talked about this before, but for the people who are just tuning in, let me give you just a quick recap. Let me zoom out a little bit further to the weekly time frame and kind of give you just a quick recap why I think that we are going lower. The reason I think we're going lower, we came down from $3,900, guys, all the way up to a high of $69,000 without a retrace. We are putting in a higher low, higher high, higher low pattern at the present time, but eventually we need to come down and do a full retrace. Now, one or two things that I am still watching out for. If we get rejected off of here and we don't break through this box, we're gonna go down back into the not back, because we haven't hit it yet, into the 200 EMA. We have not broken the 100 EMA. In my opinion, once we lose the 100 EMA, that's all she wrote. She's going to come down to the 200 EMA, and more than likely she's going to come down to that 300 EMA. That was the prior support in previous retracements, like we talked about last week. If you guys have not seen that update, guys, I encourage you to go to Pi's channel. Take a look at the last time I was on her show last week. Take a look at that analysis, because what we did is we did a very in-depth analysis. We went all the way to the beginning, guys, all the way. Actually, we went all the way, I think, to 2011, and we measured every single bull run that Bitcoin has had and how much it has retraced. And you'll be surprised at the data that we were able to show people last week. So definitely take a look at that. But moving forward, guys, if we break this my target box, that's when I will flip my bias from bearish to bullish. But I need invalidation. So being the fact that I'm bearish, I need an invalidation to the bull side. So, and those who are bullish, they are going to have invalidation to the downside. So if you are extremely bullish, thinking we're going to go to put another higher high, but yet we get rejected here, your invalidation point should be the 100 EMA, which is what I mentioned before, is support. Once we break through there, any responsible analyst will always have an invalidation point. And I imagine this would be their invalidation point. So for me, on the other side of that, being that I'm bearish, I'm thinking of a deeper retracement. My invalidation point for the bears is going to be the top of this box. If you break it and you reclaim it, breaking it is not enough, guys. You need to flip it into support. You flip this into support, you consolidate here, and you start heading up. That's when I believe that we're going to go to another higher high. And yes, last week we did a harmonic pattern, and our target, guys, let me just move this box out of my way. Our target for the next move, for a next higher high, would be about 72,384, in that realm there. And the way I got this target is by using a harmonic pattern. When you guys get a chance, go to investopedia.com and look up harmonic patterns. It's really interesting, a theory that the market structures like to respect. It's a very good way to finding reasonable targets that happen more often than not. So definitely take some time to look up harmonic patterns on investopedia.com. Now, if right now, as you can see, we are in almost every time frame. Look at the weekly time frame. We are right at the cusp of the 30 EMA. But one thing you want to notice, and I'm going to go down to different time frames, we are at the very last EMA she needs to break. So on the weekly, she broke the 9, the 50, and the 30. Very bullish. On the daily, it's broken through the 9, 30, 50, 100, 300, and it needs one more, the 200. If you go to the 12-hour time frame, same thing. The only difference is we now broke through the last. On the 12-hour time frame is the first higher time frame that actually broke the last EMA, and look at what we did. We back tested. This is what I love to see, because this tells me the bulls are in control. Whenever you see something break through, guys, especially strong resistance, always expect that. If for those who like to short, this is a great shorting opportunity. You don't have to use, it doesn't have to be a very big percentage, but if you go down to lower time frames and if you're a leverage trader and you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money on these moves. Always expect these back tests. So now that we got the 12-hour time frame breaking and back testing the last EMA, we flip to that one higher time frame, which is the daily. And we need to do the same thing we did at the 12-hour time frame. We need to do it with the 300 EMA. So we're getting really close. The bulls are definitely in control of the market right now. I know it might not seem like that, guys, because everyone is in a hurry. And I always like to tell my students on Discord, my private students, that the market is not in a hurry. Only you are. So the fact that it's moving the way it's moving has nothing to do with the market is boring. That's just the way the market is. The market's going to take its time. But if you really pay attention, we're putting in a lot of bullish signals, EMA crossings, this stair-stepping flag breakout pattern, the back testing of these breakout areas. All of this stuff, guys, is all bullish. It's not moving at the speed you want to, but nevertheless, it's moving in the right direction for those who maintain a bullish bias. It's looking really, really good for them. What do you think about that, Pi? Did that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, the one thing that I always see whenever I zoom out is if you're kind of looking at it from the, the W's and the M's, right? When you zoom out, you see an M. That makes me kind of feel a little bit more bearish when I see that, but we could be having a reversal, right?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. One of the things about an M pattern, or it's also referred to as a double top, is that you have to, they all have a certain rule set, just like everything else. Just like as an analyst, you have a certain rule set. And one of the rule sets about an M or a double top is the right side cannot be higher than the left side. When that happens, when it breaks the previous high, it now becomes a swing fail. So this invalidates the M pattern or the double top pattern, which is a very bearish market structure, to a swing fail, which usually is followed by a correction, which usually does follow a continuation. So there is definitely a case for the bulls. One of the things, guys, that you need to understand, I know that I post a lot of stuff that's bearish because I'm looking at the overall picture, is that I also try to do my best to make a case for the bulls. You can have both biases, guys, and you should have both biases as an analyst, but obviously you're always going to sway to one side over the other for various reasons. And I think I made my case very clear last week, but for now, I am still on the bearish side, but I could recognize, as a responsible analyst, I can recognize that this could be a continuation into a higher high. And like I mentioned before, there are some invalidation areas that I'm looking for. And if they play out, great. If they don't, I switch my bias, guys. Look, I told you guys last week, and I'll always repeat this. I'm not a bottom catcher, guys. I don't need to catch the very bottom. I don't try to catch the very top. I can make a very comfortable living as a trader in between here. Now, that being said, in full disclosure, in the past, I want to say in the past 6 to 8 months, guys, I actually, even though I follow the charts and I do my analysis, I don't trade as much as I used to, because I am now into a new chapter of crypto, which is DeFi. I know DeFi's been around for a couple of years, but I only got my feet wet with DeFi just last year, the beginning of last year. So I'm still really new to it. I'm looking for projects. I'm learning about projects that provide a stable passive income in yield farming. That to me is a less stressful, guys. I know you guys will look at someone like myself or many other great analysts out on Twitter, and you think, oh, this is it. Once you know how to read the chart, this is easy. Guys, it's not. It's not. Doing technical analysis and actually putting your money in the market and not knowing when it can turn, putting your stop losses, putting your invalidation points. That stress that goes along with that type of way of making a living is very, very stressful. And maybe not so much as you're younger, but as you get older, like myself, that's 50 years old, it becomes a little bit more daunting on my being. I get tired more often. I don't have the same concentration I used to before. So being that my body is starting to shift and I'm getting older, I got to face it. I'm trying to find other avenues that are less stressful for me that will allow me to still make a living inside of this space, but without all the anxiety that comes along with the responsibility of getting it right, because I don't have another check coming in. This is how I feed my family. This is how I pay my bills. So we're not always going to get it right 100%, but we need to get it right more often than not. And that does put a lot of toll on some people, and it is personally for me. But nevertheless, guys, I love TA. Even though I am not trading as I used to be, like I used to before, I still enjoy it just as much. And you don't need to have, like for me personally, guys, I don't need to have money to analyze something and watch my targets hit. I get just as excited, Pi. I'm like, my target hit, yeah. And, it's awesome. It's like a game to me, guys. It's a really fun game, and it's funner now that my money is not in it.
And you can enjoy it a little more.
Exactly, because if I get it wrong, it's okay. I get a paycheck every single day, so I could care less whether if I'm right or I'm wrong. I get paid every day. One of these days, guys, we're gonna do me and Pi are gonna do a show. I'm gonna cover a couple of passive income projects that I'm in, to see if you guys are interested in getting your feet wet doing that. If you don't, that's fine. It's definitely very, very different than traditional markets, guys, than traditional crypto markets. But if you've got some time and you got a little bit of money you get to play with, it would be advantageous for you guys to at least pay attention to it, give it a shot, give it a try. It's a whole different a realm of investing than it is than trading. Completely different, where you're not looking at technical analysis as your basis for entering into a specific project, but you're looking at the actual mechanics of the project. Because if you look at the charts of some of these coins that we are in, some of the projects that we are in, the charts look like crap. We were just talking about that with
a little
Pi.
Scary.
that if you look at the charts and you base it on that, you would never go in. But that's not how it works in DeFi. The charts are almost irrelevant, to be honest with you guys. It has to do with more of the FA than the TA, where you guys that are listening now, we trade based off of TA, and that's what leads us for the setups, for the entries, for the exit, for the invalidations, for the stop losses. On these projects, it's much, much different. And we'll talk about that in another show, guys. If you guys are interested, leave a comment on her YouTube channel, guys. A lot of you guys left comments for me on my Twitter or left it on her Twitter profile. That does not help Pi. You need to leave it on her comment section in YouTube, because she needs to trigger those algorithmic points that YouTube uses, so she can get more exposure, so her channel can grow, and we can educate more people as more people get her channel in front of their faces. So please, guys, do her a favor, do me a favor, and just make sure you leave a comment below if you're interested in those projects that I talked about on passive income. We can touch on those maybe once every couple of weeks or once a month. And also, if you have any altcoins, leave the comments on YouTube, not on her or my Twitter, please, guys. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Is there anything you wanted to add, Pi, to the analysis that I gave?
Well, I just wanted to add to what you were just saying, just quickly, is if leaving the comments really helps you guys, because I'm sure you're all aware, as you do research on different crypto projects and markets in general, there's a lot of people that have their biases, right? They're pushing their altcoin projects onto you, or their whatever their biases are. And we're really trying to stay away from that. We're just honestly want to educate people that are coming into the space, so you can make your own decision on whatever it is that you want to do. We're not here to shove anything down your throat. We're not making any money off of you guys. It's just information that we have that we feel like we should share with people, especially new people. And my heart is to just try to help as many people as we can to avoid the scammers. I mean, I shouldn't call them scammers, but there are a lot of scammers, right? We all know there's a lot of scams. There's a lot of different things out there. When you're in the world of crypto, you run into so much misinformation. So if we can even help some of these people, come into this channel and understand some of the stuff, if they really want to dig in deeper, they can join BC's Discord. I mean, that's real, like really where a lot of information is at too. But I really just want to try to keep people from getting losing their money, because there's a lot of scams.
What one thing I don't understand, Apai, you said you're not getting paid for this. I contacted Bitcoin's customer support line and they're paying me for this show.
Well, they didn't pay me.
That's the first thing I tell my friends when they want to get into Bitcoin. I'm like, you got to make sure what you're doing, because if you lose it or you transfer something wrong, there is no 1-800 number to call Bitcoin support to help you figure out where you send your money to.
Yes.
So make sure you understand how your wallets work, because a lot of people, they don't know any better. They think, okay, if I lose something, I'll just call support. Who are you going to call in crypto? There is no support.
No.
There is no support.
We had a little scare with that yesterday. Actually, me and a friend were doing a transaction, and I was like, here, use my QR code. And yeah, we had a scare there, had to trace it back onto the Explorer, make sure that it actually went to where it was supposed to.
Yeah. I had that experience, as well as I'm working on a project on the Phantom chain. So I'm bridging money over from Binance Smart Chain over to FTM. And it does get a little scary when you're not familiar with it. Your money goes into limbo for a little while. It leaves all the wallets, and then it's pending for half an hour. Yep. I'm like, oh God, what happened?
What happened?
And of course, I always do a test amount. But when you do a test amount, you do $20. Yeah. $20 go by really quickly. But when you send over 100,000 and it gets stuck for half an hour, you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
But
it's
your heart gets racing. Your heart gets racing. But you know what? Did anybody give you any requests for altcoins like I did last week? Did you have any you want me to take a look at?
I think I want to look at BNB. I think that was a good one to look at.
Let's do that. Let me take a look. Let me here. BNB US. All right. So let me look at this. I already have a chart for this here. Let me pull it up into okay. So this is a chart. I already have this on my screen, guys. Because I love BNB. I am very big. Most people who know me, who follow me, know that I'm very big on utility coins. There's over 11,000 coins in crypto, guys. You're not going to get in all of them. So people often say, how do you choose? What makes you choose a coin one over another? And everybody has their own criteria. Everybody has their own how risk adverse they are. For myself and where I'm at in my career and my life, I don't need to take really big chances with coins that have a lot of hopium or that have a lot of promises. I'd rather stick my money in things with more utility. So this particular project here definitely speaks to me because of its utility. I know a lot of people don't like BNB. They're saying it's centralized. And so I don't really get involved with that too much, guys. I just know that they continue to build. They have a chain that a lot of projects build on. It's really well known and it continues to grow. So for that reason, I like to buy it. But I'm more leaning towards, like I said before, into yield farming / investor. So I want to buy these coins for long term. Now, because I'm so involved inside of DeFi space, I have a lot of BNB because that's what I use for gas. And I just always like this coin. But I always want to look for areas that I can load up. I'm sure everybody can agree with that. So this is an analysis that I did, guys, back when we had this red candle here. And my analysis on this here, looking at the swing low to the swing high, the swing fail here, and the retracement, I'm looking for this as my buy zone. I'm hoping to get BNB between $153 and $200, somewhere in that realm. I know it may seem a little bit a little hard to believe, guys, if you're new in this space. For those who have been in this space for a number of years, they will 100% have no problem accepting that a coin would go from $400 to 153 bucks, because anyone who's already been through a market cycle, meaning that you saw the lows, you saw the highs, and you went through a full retracement, you see what these coins will bleed out. Now, one of the things you want to keep in mind, guys, and I said this before and I'll say it again, and you'll hear me say it again in the future, is the price of a coin does not reflect the utility of a coin. That's something that's very important for you guys to understand. People like to think that this coin is too popular, this Binance Smart Chain is too big for it to go down to this price. And that's not how you view the price of a project. This here, this price, these red candles, all of this here, guys, this price action, that's the market. That's what the market does. Now, the company as a whole, Binance Smart Chain, Binance themselves, they continue to build regardless of the red and green days. They don't come into work and say, oh, there's a red candle, let's stop. Everybody stop working, go home. We're not going to build. We're not going to do nothing. It's a red day. It doesn't work that way. This is controlled by the market, and the BNB, the utility, is controlled by the project itself. So the fact that we're coming down here and we are in this area here, and we may have a spring rally coming up. So far, we're in a spring rally with Bitcoin. We have a chance to go probably a little bit higher up. Look at some of this resistance areas, guys. As a matter of fact, let me just note this down real quick to make it a little bit easier for you guys to see what I'm talking about. Look at this area here, guys. So we had this drop here. We went down to 706. We had a swing move up to 500 bucks. We came down into this area here as support, which was prior resistance. We tried to go back up again. We did a swing fail. Now we went back down, but look at how interesting these points are. The area of rejection off the first swing high was the support off the second swing. And then when we lost that, we turned around and we flipped it into resistance. Resistance 1, we started to pull back down, and we landed on prior support and resistance. So you see those points, guys, those are the type of points that you need to recognize, to learn how to recognize, learn to pay attention, because they tell you a lot about the future movements and the possibilities of where you can take profit from. Because when you look at areas like this, always think resistance is where I take profit, support is where I want to scale in. So you scale into support, you take profit in here. If you get it wrong, you know that if this breaks, continues because of the prior support, you're going to get a back test. The probability of a back test, this is your chance to rebuy it again, and all is good with the world. You don't have to worry about losing a couple of cents on a trade, guys, in difference when you bought it or you sold it. You have to think bigger picture. So you want to also preserve your capital. This would be a great area for an exit. So what I'm thinking is going to happen right now, if my analysis is correct as far as the bear bias, and we get that spring rally into 45 to 51,000 on Bitcoin, BNB has a good chance of going back up to $508. Get rejection off of here, and then put in a lower high, and then start going down into a retracement. If we are going to retrace into Bitcoin, this is where I would see us going, and this is where my buy zone will start to trigger. Now, I am not looking, when I put a line here, guy, and I put a buy zone, it doesn't mean that I'm waiting for that exact number. I like to take the approach that I like to scale in, because I do not know where these coins are going to stop. So where do I like to look at? I like to look at key areas. Golden ratio. How many of you guys have not heard of the golden ratio? It's there for a reason. Look to the left. Look how well it played as support in previous moves. It was great resistance, and it was great area support. So here's where I would start scaling in. Go into the golden ratio. That doesn't work out. I go down into this 706. The 706, guys, is not a technical fib retracement area. It's an area that my buddy Chingus X turned me on to about three years ago or so. He said, hey, BC, you got to use this metric that I use. It plays out so well. It catches a lot of these retracement areas. It's done really well for me. And so I paid attention to him. I put it on my chart. I back tested it. I thought it was fabulous. I started using it ever since. And it's been working out really good for me for areas to load up or to find support. So I like to use it for future areas that I'm looking to scale in. So I would scale in on the 618. I would scale into the Chingus level, the 706, and of course my buy zone, which would, I like to find confluence, guys. When I look at an area of a main area for me to load up, I like finding confluence. And this buy zone not only is it the 786, which is a fib retracement, but it lines up really well with the 200 EMA. The 200 EMA has been historically well at catching coins that have a lot of history on it. The 200 EMA and the 300 EMA, both of them together, are very, very good areas to buy into that support consolidation area. So those are the areas that I look for, and that's why I have this here. But it's not to say, guys, there isn't a chance here. Look, watch this, guys. Tell me who would not want to make a nice 23% return on their money right now. This is a great, great setup. If Bitcoin is looking good, Bitcoin has a possibility of continuation. If it does, 23% is no laughing joke. Remember, every time you guys think about a 3, 4, 5% as being too little, go to your bank and ask them how much interest they're going to pay on your money. And this is going to make you appreciate when you see a 23% ROI on your chart. Yeah, when they're giving you 0.001, this is going to look really mighty attractive to you guys. So these are the type of things, guys, that I like to look at. I know many of us are spoiled in this space. If it's not 3, 400%, we don't want to take a look at it. And that's the wrong attitude, guys, because this is a long game. The guys the people that are searching for those 200, 300 are usually people who are getting wrecked. They're going irresponsible. They're being irresponsible with the money. They're over leveraging in those, trying to get those big moves. Where a real trader, guys, this is what he looks for. He goes little by little by little. He's just stabbing at it and stabbing at it little by little. He's not looking for the home run. He is going to get there one base at a time. And this is how you survive in this space, guys. I've been here for 6 years. I can't tell you how many good traders, really good traders, have been wiped out because they're in a hurry. They're in a hurry. They over leverage themselves, and it just takes one time to get wiped out, guys. Just one time. So you want to be careful with that as well. What did you think about this, Pi, on BNB?
I think that's good. And that's really useful advice. That's for sure, that you want to take it slow. I know everyone hears those stories of people that just overnight became a millionaire, and you want to be that too. And you take too much risk. And before you know it, instead of millionaire, you're the complete opposite of that. And now you have to go back to your 9 to 5 crying because you got nothing left. So
yeah. And you know what, guys? I don't want you to think that you should discount those Hail Marys, I like to call them. There's a lot of coins out there that if you think and you feel like there's a potential to do a 10,000x, take 5%. 5% of your portfolio, because those coins that do that, you don't need a lot of money to make a lot of money. And let me give you an example. There was a coin last summer in our Discord. I did not participate in it, but a lot of my members did. And one gentleman, he put $1,000. He put $100, and he left it there. He just did a Hail Mary, $30,000 off of $100. It was called Pig. So if you guys can look that up, $100 turned into $30,000. Now, guys, that's not going to happen to you every day. It's not going to happen to you every year. It may never happen to him again, but it was a very small position. He said, what the hell? He threw it in there when nobody was looking, when nobody wanted it. He just thought it was interesting, and he said, I'll throw $100. We call it, I like to teach my students to play with beer money. So when you guys go out with your friends and you spend $20 on beers, and you have no problem spending that and drinking and throwing that away, that's the type of money you should be putting in projects like that. However, you never know. You can get your beer money can turn into some serious capital with some of those. But you just have to understand to be responsible. You're not going to get those every day. A little bit of money can go a long way. And this way, you get that temptation out of the way. You get your beak wet. You don't have to be always jonesing for it. You're in it. If it works out, great. but be responsible. If your goal is to last in this business for a long time, this is the only way it's going to happen, guys. You need to play it responsible. You need to preserve your capital and allow 5% of your portfolio to be you can be irresponsible, as irresponsible as you want, as long as it's no more than 5% of your portfolio. You got my blessing. You got my blessing.
that's a good, it's a rule of thumb. It's a good rule of thumb, 5%.
Yeah. Is there any other coin that you want me to look at, Pi?
Avalanche, if we just want to take a few minutes to look at that one.
Sure.
That's a one that I hear a lot, and we all know it's a big buzzword these days with Avalanche. So
is it AVAX?
Yep.
Avalanche? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. All right, so here is let me look at this real quick here. I did analysis for someone on here as well. I am not in this one here, but this is also a layer, a utility coin. So again, guys, things like Avalanche, Dot, Algo, Cosmos, BNB, Ethereum, Phantom, Chronos, all of those guys, I am very, very interested in all those layer ones. They will be what people are going to be building on in the future. So you want to get into them while they're still cheap. Right here, so far, okay, so here's what we got. We had a high, we put in a low, lower high, lower low, lower high. We were on our way down to a new lower low, but we had this nice little spring rally that popped up. So now we're inside of this range, guys. We're stuck in here in this range. We have not put in a new lower low until we break this previous lower low of $52.95. Then we now confirm this new lower high. Currently, we're at $84. A full retracement on this, guys, to get into a buy zone on this particular coin, I would be somewhere between $38 and $25 would be
that'd be
a good
great
buy zone. Yeah. And again, guys, these are all estimations. These are analysis based on market structure, based on prior moves. And here, let me explain to you guys something. You guys look at this price and say $25 for Avalanche. I saw it at what's the high? 147 BC. That'll never happen. Well, check this out, guys. It's funny. I love when people tell me that, because all I have to do is pop up the chart and say, really? Now think about this, guys. You're an Avalanche and you saw it going sideways, and it was $3. It was $3. And then it went on a run. It went on a run and it goes all the way to $60.
Yeah.
$60. Okay. And you're thinking, never again will we see a low price. This is a layer one. It's going to do too good. They're building. Let's see. Look at this, guys. Look at that. We went from $3, $2.50 was the low here, to $60.30. Look at that retrace. Look at that, right into my favorite 886. She bounced once, she bounced twice, and there she goes. When this coin was at $60, I guarantee nobody ever thought they'd see it for $9 again.
Right.
You fast forward today, guys. Look at the 886 here. You see this 886 here? You see this 886? There's a reason I have this as a buy zone. There is a reason. But I'm not in, I've been in this space long enough. You'll never catch me saying there's no way that this is going to do a retrace. This is too bullish. It's only going to go up only. It's just not realistic. That's not the way the markets work. So the fact that I'm calling for $25, guys, is not my opinion. It's facts. It is based on prior price action. It's based on market cycles. If you look at almost any coin out there that has done a retracement, and you're trying to get an educated area where their next retracement is going to be, all you have to do is look to the left. And the funny thing is, guys, some of these coins that have more data on them and they have 2 or 3 retracements, measure those. Take the time to learn how to do that, guys, and you'll notice they all retrace right within the same range. They repeat the same patterns over and over again. So there's no reason that you think that this time it's different, because it never is. It just depends on your. Only thing different, guys, is how educated you are about market cycle. Are you educated enough to recognize a market cycle, or is it different this time because you don't know yet and you're going to hold all the way to the downside? Or not are you not going to hold, but are you not going to recognize where value is? Because here's the funny thing about the market, guys. Nobody wants to buy it here. No one wants to buy it here. Everyone wants to buy this. Everyone wants to put a tattoo of AVAX on their chest, but no one wants to buy it here. So make sure you have the right mindset when you come into crypto, especially if you're going to come into the world of trading. It's a very different mindset you need to have.
Yes, pretty much. I feel like you have to trade opposite of your emotion. It seems that
opposite
way.
of the crowds. Opposite
Yeah.
of the crowds, because the crowd is going to trade based off emotion. So yeah, you are definitely right on that. If the majority of people base a trade off of emotion, you trade the opposite, and you're going to do well.
Yeah.
You're going to do well.
Well, I think these are two really good ones that we looked at today. We'll hopefully have some more people that want to drop it this time in the comment section so we can pick them off easy. I'll drop the other videos in the link. I'll probably put it in the comment section. The other two analysis, especially the ones where you dealt in really deep into the Bitcoin analysis. So that will be a really good one for anyone new or even just trying to brush up like I am. That's really will be helpful. So I'll throw those in the comment section. Is there anything else that you want to mention?
No, guys, just for next week's analysis, let's see if we can break this box. Let's see if we don't get stuck underneath resistance, and hopefully we're going to be inside of this box for the next week's show. I think that's going to make a lot of people on Twitter happy.
Yes.
A lot of the, and you know what, guys, they could be right. They could be right. And there's nothing wrong with that. If they're right, I would never be mad at that. I'd be congratulating them because they had a faith all the way at the bottom when I didn't have the faith, and there's nothing wrong with that. They got it right. I got it wrong. I'm not in a competition with anyone. I have to understand that if I'm putting my money on the line, if I was going to put money on the line, I have to feel certain of where I'm putting my money at. Because guess what, guys? If I get it wrong, I can't go to Twitter and say, hey, I need a refund.
Yeah.
Because it's not the responsibility. It's my responsibility.
Right.
So if it's my money, it's going to be my decision.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me on the show, Pi. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming on. And I'm looking forward to having you come back and talk about the DeFi. And next week, we'll do another Bitcoin analysis, and hopefully we're in that little box there.
Okay,
nice.
great.
It'll make
me
happy, that's for sure.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, BC, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have an awesome day and good weekend. Enjoy your dinner.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
I sure will. Break away from the charts for a little bit and enjoy my life.
Yes. All right, I'll talk with you later.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.